Hi and welcome to Real Reviews. My name's Martin Carr and today I'm going to be talking about Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget, which got its release, its world premiere in fact, at the London Film Festival this month, just gone, and stars Zachary, Levi, Melda Staunton, Jane Horrocks and Sandy Newton. So let's get into it, shall we? So way back in 2000, Chicken Run hit the screens and it was a stop motion instant classic from Aardman Animation. It starred Julia Sawalha, who is best known for her role in Absolutely Fabulous, which is the Jennifer Saunders comedy series which ran for years on the BBC. And Mel Gibson, who is just known for everything from Lethal Weapon through to Maverick, through to The Passion of the Christ and so on and so forth, as well as having a few, shall we say, murky things in his past which wouldn't make him particularly good choice nowadays for the sequel, which comes to us, as I said, over 20 years later, and hence to a degree why we have this recast of Thandiwe Newton and Zachary Levi. Zachary Levi people will know from the Shazam and Shazam Fury of the Gods. And they have brought back some original members. So they brought back Melda Staunton, they brought back Jane Horrocks and Miranda Richardson as Mrs. Tweedy, who is the overbearing, shall we say, evil nemesis of the chickens. And this time round, what you have is you don't have them escaping from a chicken coop, so you don't get the Great Escape sort of homage. You do get them breaking into essentially a battery farm operation. So you'll get Mission Impossible homages, you get certain Bond stuff in there, and you get the same level of sort of Heath Robinson, should we say, improvised sort of escape equipment which they use, and it sort of utilizes various sort of household objects and stuff like that. So I think the next question is this sequel any good? After 23 years, did we really need another Chicken Run? So let's get into that, shall we? So I think primarily the biggest issue with Dawn of the Nugget is that the film is unnecessary. It is an Aardman Animation production, so you do get the same level of nostalgia in terms of the stop motion quality, and the animation is excellent, and the voice cast really give it their all. I think you know, you've got Bella Ramsey, who people will know from The Last of Us, which was the HBO TV series, and doing the voice of Molly, I think it's Molly, who is the daughter of Rocky and Ginger. And you get a few little, you know, a few belly laughs do come into it, and sort of visual gags and so on and so forth. But ultimately what this suffers from is a really thin storyline. You go from this utopian sort of chicken paradise where they're on an island, and they're quite safe, to this rather convoluted sort of way of getting them off the island and into action to sort of come up against the villain of the piece from the last film. And it's just the dialogues, it's not bad, but the story's really thin, and it's as much as it runs for 97 minutes, which is, you know, feature-length film, it does feel to a degree like it's been padded out. I don't feel that there was the same degree of chemistry between Levi and Newton that there was between Sawalha and Gibson. I think that this does feel not so much like a cash-in as such, but it certainly it doesn't have the same level of invention, at least consistent, and the jokes just aren't there. So after maybe after a decade, fair enough, you'd give it another go, but after 2 decades, you're like, well, what exactly are you trying to achieve with this? Aardman are without doubt a great British institution in terms of animation, and they did great things, and Chicken Run was responsible for making the Academy create an animated feature category in the Oscars, which is an anorak fact, but one worth knowing for anoraks, I guess. But ultimately this does feel like a retread. So what you're going to get is this is going to be thrown on to entertain kids on a Sunday afternoon, and it's it's going to feel like a massive waste when it could have been something great, because to make Chicken Run new, they needed to reinvent the wheel ultimately and start and give it something really and risk it, make it a risky thing, which Dawn of the Nugget simply isn't. So on that note, I'm going to move on to my rating. Right, so basically I'm going to give this a 3. I'm almost considering giving it a 2, but I'm going to give it a 3 because it's Aardman and it's not worth it going to a 2 for this. So it's going to be a 3 out of 5 on the big old 5 scale, and that's going to be purely because of you know, it might not have the ambition of the first one, it might not have some of the key members of the cast of the first Chicken Run, and it might have a thin story, but ultimately it's still watchable. It's not a terrible film, not by any means. It's just disappointingly average in its ambition, and for something which, you know, apparently it took, I think it's John O'Farrell, Karey, Kirkpatrick, who are the original screenwriters, and Rachel Tunnard, who is a newcomer. It took them 3 years to create this, and it is done under the auspice, it's done underneath the umbrella of Netflix. I just feel that they could have shot for the moon if they're being backed by one of the biggest streaming services on the planet. So it's a 3 out of 5 on the big old 5 scale. And that's it, that's my take. And now let's move on to that trailer, shall we? Because I got stuff to do. And so it is that you've reached the end of the video for Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget, which gets released on Netflix on December 15th. And if you've liked this video, then make sure and give me a thumbs up. If you want to drop a comment in the comment box below, then feel free, and I can respond, and I will respond. And finally, if you want to subscribe, then click the subscription button so that every Tuesday and every Saturday when I drop one video, you can get a little notification, and you can just drop in and listen to or watch as much as you want, and then just go about your day. So until next time, make sure to have a look at the rest of the content, by all means, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers, bye.